we are going to hit you with our top 10 solo games of all time. And by we, I mean I. This is my favorite 10 solo games of all time. I'm going to pitch them to you, Jake. I want you to try these games at some point. Here we go. I'm going to start with my number 1 solo game of all time. This is Lord of the Rings, the card game.
Yes.
This was my first solo game ever.
Okay.
Now, it's on the list because I think it's an incredible card game. But it's also on the list for sentimental reasons because it was my first. It was my first LCG. This is Fantasy Flight Games LCG version of Lord of the Rings. I love Lord of the Rings. My son's name is Strider.
Me as well.
I don't need to explain much.
No. We all know.
But it is a fantastic implementation of a lot of different things, deck building, and it is I think it's a solo game. I mean, you can play it cooperatively. I wouldn't. I'm sure some people do. To me, it's a solo game. I think it's absolutely brilliant. Building themed decks. I want to build a hobbit deck, a dwarf deck, an elf deck. I want to build a Rohan deck.
Sure.
They all synergize beautifully and do these cool things. That's my number 10. My number 9 are 2 games that are not necessarily only solo games, but I think maybe work best as solo games. I'm going to put them both together because they're very similar to me. Gloomhaven and Seventh Continent.
I've played Gloomhaven.
You played Gloomhaven?
Love that game.
We've played it together a bunch.
Yeah.
I love it as a cooperative game. I think Gloomhaven and Seventh Continent work so well as solo games because you're never going to finish them with your friends.
Right. Right. No, life moves too fast and it's hard to get together.
Gloomhaven is like a 100-hour long game. Seventh Continent's like a 100-hour long game. You'll finish it by yourself.
Yeah.
Because you know, over the years you can pull it out and play whenever you want. Look, God bless you if you finish it. I know we have some listeners who have Gloomhaven only groups. I do not. I will never finish Gloomhaven with my group, but I will finish it on my own. Nice. Same with Seventh Continent. Number 8 is a game called Too Many Bones. Too Many Bones is by Chip Theory Games. You can laugh at the title if you want.
That's the 4-year-old in me.
But it is a RPG game adventure with dice.
I like that.
But you are using the dice as the dice are sort of like actions that you can do. So like, let's say
you're placing them.
Like this die is a grenade and I actually put the grenade into a slot and now, and I put it at number 6. So I have 6 grenades now and I use another die. That's cool. It's very dice based, but also chips are used as the characters and you sort of have a mouse pad and you're putting your chips there with health underneath it. So you can see how healthy somebody is by how many stacks of health chips are underneath them. They use very interesting components, Chip Theory Games. Too Many Bones is awesome and fun and deep. And I would only play it solo because I think it works best that way.
All right.
I know we're flying through this because I'm trying to keep these episodes short. The next is One Deck Dungeon. This is, there's 2 types of solo games. There's long, heavy, intense ones, and there's fast little short games you can play in 20 minutes. One Deck Dungeon is one of my favorite fast little games. It comes in a tiny little box. You're rolling dice and trying to get through a dungeon. And it's similar to a game that you love, Jake, called Elder Signs.
Oh, sure, yeah.
There's a beautiful app implementation of it. I think I'm going to recommend that you get that.
Okay.
But the actual physical game is lovely and very fun and very fast. Next is the game we've talked about a lot today. My number 6 favorite solo game is Renegade, designed by Richard Wilkins, Ricky Royal. To me, I know Ricky did not say he set out to do this, but to me, it's Mage Knight in 30 minutes with a cyberpunk theme.
It's beautiful.
I'm
looking at the box.
If that didn't sell the game to you right there, I don't know. It is puzzly, but also thematic. It is the right level of puzzle and theme integration for me. It has asymmetrical powers. It is deck building. You're buying cards from market, sort of like Pax Premier. You're using them and fighting viruses and different things in the AI. It's fantastic. My number 5 is a game that I'm very excited for Jake to try. It's called Deep Space D6.
Oh.
It's right here. It looks like a choose your own adventure. The box looks like a book.
It does.
This game is an episode of Star Trek. You play it in 30 minutes. You have warped into a unknown sector of space after getting a distress signal, and it's a trap.
Done.
And
I'm in.
They've shot your engines down, and you must survive until reinforcements show up.
Got it. Love it.
The game comes with a bunch of different spaceships. Each spaceship plays totally differently. Each spaceship, it's just on the side there. If you lift it up.
Got it.
Each spaceship is a little piece of paper that you fold out. It's dice based. Each die is a person that it's sort of worker placement. You're rolling to see what workers you get that round. You're placing them on the ship to do different things. If you roll a certain type of worker, they can fire the cannons. They can they can get the shields back up. You're just trying to survive. Super fun, super fast.
I'm a sucker for a theme, by the way. So
sure.
When it comes up, that's something I already love.
I'm definitely giving you Deep Space D6 today. I think you're going to love it. My number 4 is Mage Knight. I think Mage Knight is a fine game and a great solo game. I wouldn't really necessarily want to play it with other people. I think it's a little long and a little fiddly, and I think there's better versions of it, but I still think it's a beautiful solo game. It's so heavy and so intense. If you have 6 hours, like a night, and you just want to play it, but no different than if you want to play a video game by yourself for 6 hours.
Fall down that hole, no problem.
Of course. But I think Mage Knight is an incredible solo experience. And if you want good videos to teach you how to play Mage Knight, because it is not a simple game, Ricky Royal has you covered. Next up is Pax Pamir, my number 3.
Oh, 3.
My number 3.
Oh, 3. Top 3.
Yeah, number 3.
Yeah.
My number 3 is Pax Pamir. Boom.
Boom.
We reviewed it today.
We did.
It's number 3 on the list.
All right.
You've played it. I think you would enjoy the solo implementation. I will try to talk you through it at some point.
Okay.
Ricky has great videos on it as well if you want to learn those. I think it's almost a perfect solo game. I would recommend this. All 3 games in the top 3 are games I'd recommend you buy just as solo games.
That's cool.
Pax Pamir 2.0 to me is worth purchasing, even if you know you'll never get to the table with somebody else. I think the AI is that interesting and fun. Number 2, this is my favorite Euro solo game, and also in my top 3 favorite Euros. I mean, the fact that this is a game that I would enjoy playing solo as much as multiplayer is shocking to me, and that game is Gaia Project.
Have I played that one? I think I have,
Asymmetrical Aliens.
Oh, yeah.
I would highly recommend that you play Gaia Project solo. You're probably thinking, why would I play that solo? That's an amazing game. It's Terra Mystica in space. That's a 4-player game. It is an incredible solo game. The Automa people, that's the name of a design group that makes these AI implementations. They knocked it out of the park with Gaia Project. Awesome. They absolutely killed it. My number 1. It's no surprise if you know me. This is one of my favorite games of all time, and I only play it as solo. It is Arkham Horror LCG. I put Lord of the Rings card game as my number 10, and I'm putting this at number 1 because they are bookends to me. This replaces Lord of the Rings. I do not play Lord of the Rings card game anymore because of it. It's on my list because it's that special to me. But Arkham Horror LCG is my number 1 solo game of all time. This is a desert island game.
Sure.
If you said, Matt, you're only allowed to have 1 board game you ever play for the rest of your life and you have no friends.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I've got Arkham Horror.
Right.
Arkham Horror is deck building. It is story. It is tough decisions. It is deep. It is incredible. It is worth looking at and finding. All you need is a core box if you want to try it out. Then you can buy the next sort of season. There are these sort of arcs, and you go through a story. If you want to try more stories, you buy more arcs. But you could just stick with one story forever because you can take different characters through it, and it'll play totally different. And you could build different decks, and it gives you that deck building, Netrunner, Game of Thrones LCG feel by yourself.
That's amazing.
Of tooling with decks and going through adventures, and it's a campaign. So by the time you get to this whole story, not only have you felt like you've played this amazing Magic the Gathering style card game, but you've also had this amazing story that you'll never create. It'll play out super different every time.
Well, I'm definitely going to try and play all 10 of these.
Yep.
And then
we're going to check them off as we go.
Absolutely.
Those are our top 10. That's my top 10.
Soon to be my top
solo
10
games of all time. I know a lot of people have other solo games they love. Tell me yours on Twitter or on our Facebook group.